Physics is the study of nature and natural phenomena. இயற்பியல் என்பது இயற்கையை பற்றியும் இயற்கை நிகழ்வுகளை பற்றியும் படிக்கும் ஒரு பாடமாகும். அத்தகைய பாடத்தை கற்க விரும்பும் மாணவ செல்வங்களுக்கும் கண்மணிகளுக்கும் எனது வணக்கம். In this session, we'll be dealing with projectile under an angular projection. A projectile is an object which is thrown with some initial velocity and then allowed to move freely under gravity. If a projectile motion takes place from a horizontal plane, it is called horizontal projection. But in this case, when a particular angle with the vertical, then such a motion is called angular projection. It will be given here. Projectile motion takes place when the initial velocity is not horizontal but at some angle with the vertical. So the projectile motion at a particular angle with the vertical is called angular projection. Such a projectile is also called oblique projectile. Examples for oblique projectile are water ejected out of a hose pipe held obliquely. This case is shown here in the figure. Water is ejected from a pump and it flows freely due to gravity and it makes an angle theta with the vertical, so it is a projectile. And a similar example is a cannon fired in a battleground. These are all examples for projectile motion which takes place at an angle which is also an oblique projectile. To understand what oblique projection is or projection at a particular, we use this graphical representation. This figure B shows the graphical representation of angular projection. The x-axis is along the horizontal direction and y-axis is along the vertical direction. The object which is initially at O is projected with an initial velocity of u vector. U vector being a vector can be resolved into two components, ux which is equal to u cos theta and uy which is equal to u sin theta. Any vector can be resolved into its horizontal and vertical components respectively. Similarly, here the object which is projected initially with a velocity u vector is resolved into two components, u cos theta and u sin theta. The path of the projectile is generally a parabola. The projectile moves to a maximum height at point A and then hits the ground at this particular point. Initially it starts, it has these velocities, but as it progresses, the velocities are not the same. When it comes to the horizontal direction, ux is equal to u cos theta, ux is equal to u cos theta. Similarly, for any point, when you consider the projectile, at any point along the path of the projectile, the horizontal velocity does not change. This is because there is no force acting along that particular direction. The only force that acts on this projectile is the gravitational force, which acts along the negative y direction. Since there is no force along the positive x-axis, the velocity does not change along the x-axis. So along the x-axis, the velocity remains a constant whose value is equal to u cos theta. And since the velocity, the acceleration becomes zero. For constant velocity, acceleration is generally zero. But along the y direction, the gravitational force acts. To be precise, the gravitational force acts along negative y direction. So the velocity along y-axis, which is uy, keeps on changing throughout the projectile. Initially it is u sin theta, and at the maximum point, uy is equal to 0. Since at this point the object comes to temporary rest, it cannot move further. So along the y direction, it comes to rest, and then it moves along negative y-axis. So continuously the value of uy changes, whereas the value of ux does not change. So overall, when you consider the object, in the horizontal direction, it does not have any acceleration since the velocity is a constant. But in the vertical direction, the velocity uy keeps on changing. So along the vertical direction, there will be an acceleration. To be precise, yes, you will have an acceleration, which is the acceleration due to gravity. So ax, or the acceleration along x direction, is equal to 0, whereas ay, which is the acceleration along the negative y direction, which is equal to minus g, where g is the acceleration due to gravity. The maximum height reached by the projectile is h max, and the maximum horizontal distance it travels from point O to this particular point is called the range of the projectile. These are the basic parameters I need to know when I need to study about angular projection. Okay, I'll repeat certain things. The object is initially projected with some velocity u vector, which is resolved into two components, u cos theta and u sin theta. The velocity along x direction doesn't change, so the acceleration is 0. Ax is equal to 0. Velocity along y direction keeps on changing, so there is a particular acceleration, which is the acceleration due to, so y equal to minus g. Okay, we'll have the explanation for the above diagram here in words. So let us consider an object thrown with the initial velocity u vector at an angle theta, which is already discussed with the horizontal, of course. Then u vector, any vector can be written in form of x and y components. So u vector is equal to ux I cap plus uy into j cap. Here ux is equal to u cos theta, which is the horizontal component, and uy is equal to u sin theta, which is the vertical component of velocity. The parameter I need to consider here is the acceleration due to gravity. The acceleration due to gravity always acts downwards, which is the negative y direction. It's given here in the direction opposite to the direction of vertical component uy. And this component will gradually reduce to 0 at the maximum height of the projectile, which I have explained earlier. At this maximum height, the same gravitational force will push the projectile to move downward and fall to the ground. So there is no acceleration along the x direction throughout the motion. These are the important points I need to remember to continue this process of studying oblique projection, right? So initial velocity will be so much. The velocity along horizontal direction ux is equal to u cos theta, whereas the velocity along vertical direction uy is equal to u sin theta. Acceleration due to gravity acts along the downward direction. So along x-axis there is no change in velocity, whereas along the y-axis there will be a change in the acceleration, which is minus g. Right. After a time t, the velocity along horizontal motion is given as Vx is equal to ux plus ax into t. We know the equations of motion for constantly accelerated motion as v equal to u plus at, s is equal to ut plus half at square, and d square is equal to u square plus 2as. These basic equations are used here to calculate or to find the path of a projectile. So first, after a time t, we'll consider the x-axis or simply the horizontal motion. The velocity along the horizontal direction is given as vx. We have this equation v is equal to u plus at. So when it comes to x direction, we use the suffix x here. So vx is equal to ux plus ax into t. We know that the x 0. So ax is equal to 0. So the entire term will become 0. Hence, Vx will be just equal to Ux. And we know that Ux is equal to U cos theta. Right? So initially, we are finding the velocity along x direction. Since the acceleration is 0 along the x direction, Vx is equal to Ux, whose value is equal to U cos theta. Next, the horizontal distance traveled by the projectile in time t is. To find distance or displacement, we have this equation. S is equal to ut plus half at square. So Sx is equal to ux into t plus half into ax into t square. In this particular case, Sx is equal to x, ux is equal to u cos theta, and ax is equal to 0. Substituting these values, which just x, ux is equal to u cos theta and ax is equal to 0. If we substitute these values in this particular equation, we have x is equal to u cos theta into t because ax is equal to 0. And rearranging this equation, we have t is equal to x by u cos theta. Right? So for horizontal motion or the motion along x-axis, v is equal to u plus at and ax is equal to 0 for entire horizontal motion. So whenever you come across ax, it is always 0. Whenever you come across a y, it is going to be minus g, right? So first in this case, v equal to u plus at, ax is equal to 0, it will yield a particular result. When you need the value of the distance, we use the equation s is equal to ut plus half at square. And here also ax is equal to 0, so we have sx is equal to ux into t. Substituting these values, we have cos into t. Or if we require the value of t, which is the time taken by the projectile, then t is equal to x by u cos theta. Now, if we consider the vertical motion of the projectile or the motion along y-axis, if we need the velocity, we use the same formula again. V is equal to u plus at. But now, since we look into y-axis, it becomes Vy is equal to uy plus ay into t. And I've already told you that uy is equal to u sine theta and ay is equal to minus g. Substituting these values, we get Vy is equal to u sine theta minus gt, right? So this is the expression for velocity along y direction at a particular point, right? The vertical distance traveled by the projectile in the same time t. In order to find the value, again use the equation s is equal to ut plus half at square. But since it is along the y-axis, it becomes sy is equal to uy into t plus half into right? And if we consider that sy is simply y, which is the displacement along y-axis, and we know that uy is equal to u sine theta, and ay, this is actually y, not x, ay is equal to minus g. Substituting these values in this equation, we have y is equal to sy. Instead of that, we are using y, which is equal to, instead of uy, u sine theta into t. Instead of ay, you have minus g. So minus 1 by 2 g t square, right? So basically what we have done is we found velocities and the distance traveled along x direction, time along x direction as well, x and y direction. Time doesn't matter, it doesn't depend on x or y direction. And similarly, along for vertical motion, for y axis, we have found the velocity and displacement. If in this equation, y is equal to u sine theta into t minus half gt square, if we substitute the value of t, we have the value of t as x by u cos theta. If we substitute this value in this particular equation, we have y is equal to, this value remains the same, u sine theta, and instead of t, x by u cos theta, minus 1 by 2, same value here, g, and instead of t, x by u cos theta, and here we have t square. So if we square it, x square by u square cos square theta. On simplifying this particular equation, we have a u which gets cancelled, and sine by cos theta will be tan theta. So y will be equal to x tan theta minus 1 by 2 g x square by u square cos square theta. And this is the equation for a projectile which is thrown at a particular angle with the vertical, or and this equation is the equation for a parabola. So the path followed by the projectile is an inverted parabola. From this equation, we come to this particular conclusion. Maximum height h max. The projectile, when thrown at particular angle, reaches a maximum point at A. And at this particular point, it reaches its maximum height, which is called h max. Here we'll be finding what the value of h max is. So what is maximum height? The maximum vertical distance traveled by the projectile during its journey is called maximum height. And to determine it, we use very simple equations of motion as usual. For the vertical part of motion, we have this equation, v is equal to plus 2as, and h is along the y direction. So we use the equation along y direction. So vy square is equal to uy square plus 2ay into s. Generally, we have this equation, v square is equal to u square plus 2as. Since it is along the y direction, we use vy square is equal to uy square plus 2ay s. And here s is the displacement along the y direction. This s is the maximum height. which we need. And we know that uy is equal to u sine theta and a is equal to minus g. And at the maximum height, Vy is equal to 0. We know that already. When the object reaches the maximum height, the velocity along y direction becomes 0. The object will not move further. Right. So substituting all these values in for Vy, we substitute the value 0. For Uy, we substitute u sine theta. For Ay, it is minus g. And instead of s, we have h max. Substituting these values, we have this equation. 0 square is equal to u square sine square theta, which is equal to 2g h max. Right? It is actually minus 2g h max. When it comes to the other end, it becomes plus 2g h max. Okay. And if we rearrange this equation for h max, which is the maximum height, h max is equal to u square sine square theta by 2g. So this will be the expression for the maximum height reached by the projectile. Time of flight, TF. What is the time of flight? The time taken by the projectile from the start till the end, or the time in which it is present in the air, is called time of flight. The total time taken by the projectile from the point of projection till it hits the horizontal plane is called time of flight. Right? To find the time of flight, we use this particular equation. S is equal to ut plus half at square. We consider y direction for this particular case. So Sy is equal to uyt plus half ayt square. We know that the net displacement along y direction, Sy, which is nothing but y, is equal to 0. In this diagram, if you observe it clearly, initially at the point of projection, point O, the displacement along y direction, y is equal to 0. Similarly, at the point B, which is the final point, y is 0 as well, right? So between these 2 points, the displacement along y direction is 0. So the net displacement along y direction is always 0. Whereas the net displacement along x direction is going to be r, which is called the range of the projectile. Okay, we'll come to that later. We use this particular equation, and in this equation, Sy or y is equal to 0, which is the net displacement in y direction. And we know that uy is equal to u sine theta, and ay is equal to minus g, and t is equal to capital Tf, which is the time of flight or the total time taken. Substituting these values in this particular equation, we have 0 is equal to u sine theta Tf minus 1 by 2 g Tf square. And rearranging this equation, minus on this side will be plus on the other side, and Tf square, so you will have to take square root. After doing these minor calculations, you have Tf is equal to 2u sine theta by g. Right, so this will be the expression for time of flight, Tf. Horizontal range. Horizontal range is the maximum horizontal distance between the point of projection and the point on the horizontal plane where the projectile hits the ground. If you look at this diagram, the projectile starts at point O and point B. The maximum horizontal distance from O to B is called R, which is the range of the projectile. We'll calculate what the value of R is. In order to find the value of R, we know that distance is equal to velocity into time taken. Range is nothing but the horizontal distance or the maximum horizontal distance traveled. Okay, so range R is equal to horizontal component of velocity into time of flight. This equation is of the format distance is equal to velocity into time taken. In the horizontal direction, the velocity is u cos theta, and the time taken is the total time, which is the time of flight, which is given as Tf. Right? So what I can say is the range R is equal to u cos theta into Tf. We already have the value for Tf as 2 g. If we substitute this particular value here in this equation, we have r is equal to u cos theta into 2u sin theta divided by g. And after simplifying this equation, we have 2u square sin theta cos theta divided by g. And we have a trigonometric relation which says 2 sin theta cos theta is equal to sin 2 theta. So sin 2 theta will be 2 sin theta cos theta. So substituting these values, we have r is equal to u square sin 2 theta divided by g. From this equation, we understand that the range or the maximum distance traveled by the projectile along the x direction depends on initial velocity, the angle of projection, and acceleration due to gravity. That is discussed here. The horizontal range directly depends on initial speed u, which is theta, and it inversely depends on acceleration due to gravity g. So these are the parameters on which the range depends on. For a given initial speed u, or when the value of u is constant for a particular value, the maximum possible range or r max, when will I have the maximum horizontal range, is decided by the factor sin 2 theta, right? So if r has to be maximum, if the value of r has to be maximum for a particular values of u and g, then sin 2 theta has to be maximum. For sin 2 theta to be maximum, the value of sin 2 theta or the maximum value of sin 2 theta is 1. If I need to obtain this condition, if sin 2 theta should be equal to 1, which is the maximum value for any sin theta, then 2 theta should be equal to 90 degree, which is pi by 2. Pi stands for, so 1 by 2 will be 90 degree. So 2 theta is equal to pi by 2. For theta, if I arrange this equation for theta, 2 moves onto the other side, so theta will be equal to pi by 4, right? Pi means 180 degree, it is equivalent to 180 degree, so 180 by 4 will be 45 degree, right? So what we understand from this consequence is that if the particle is projected at 45 degrees with respect to the horizontal, it attains maximum range. So the value of r max or the maximum range is going to be u square by g, because in this equation r is equal to u square sin 2 theta by g. When theta is going to be 45 degree, the value of sin 2 into 45, sin 90 will be equal to 1. So the maximum value of r, which is r max, will be u square by g. Right? Or in other words, if I want an object to travel the maximum distance possible, it should be projected at an angle of 45 degrees with respect to the horizontal. Right. In this box, some sort of rocket science is explained, which I couldn't probably understand. So I will leave it to you students to read it and understand it. These 4 lines, one of the toughest lines in this book. So I request my dear students to read this and understand it. Example 2.37. Suppose an object is thrown with initial speed 10 meters per second at an angle pi by 4 with the horizontal. What is the range covered? Suppose the same object is thrown similarly in the moon. Will that change? If yes, what is the change? The acceleration due to gravity in the moon, g moon, is equal to 1 by 6 g. It's a very simple problem based on range. We have the formula for range as r is equal to u square sin 2 theta by g. We need to find the range covered at 2 different places. One is on Earth and the other is on Moon. The object is projected with initial speed u, which is equal to 10 meters per second, and the angle theta is equal to pi by 4. What will be the range? If the same is done on Moon, will there be any change? There definitely will be a change, because the acceleration due to gravity is different for Moon. The gravitational force exerted by Moon is very much less. And it is also given that the acceleration due to gravity on Moon, g moon, is equal to 1 by 6 times g. So it is a very small value when compared to that on Earth. Generally in projectile motion, the range of the part is equal to u square sin 2 theta divided by g. We have the initial velocity u as which is taken as v naught, which is equal to 10 meters per second, and it is given that theta is equal to pi by 4, which is 45 degree. So sine 2 theta will be sine 90 degree, right? Okay, if you substitute these values in the above equation, we have our earth is equal to 10 square sine pi by 2, which is 90 degree, divided by 9.8. Sine 90 is equal to 1. So 10 square will be 100 into 1 divided by 9.8. If and this value is after making certain calculations, you can easily find that our earth is equal to 10.20 meter, which is approximated to 10 meters. Okay, so when the object is thrown on earth at a specific velocity at specific angle, the range covered by it is 10.2 meter, or simply 10. If the object is thrown on moon, where the acceleration due to gravity is g by 6. So what I have to do is basically I need to rearrange the formula. R moon is equal to u square sine 2 theta divided by g moon. Instead of g earth, we'll be using g moon. And g moon is equal to g by 6 with the same velocity. So u will be v naught, which is 10 meter per second. Theta is also the same value, only the value of g changes. Okay, and if I rearrange this, okay, d by 6 goes to the numerator, and the remaining values is what you called r earth. See, u squared sine 2 theta divided by g is r earth. Okay, so what I obtain is r moon is equal to 6 times r earth, or r moon is equal to 6 times r earth, which is 10.2 meters, which is approximately 60 meters. So when the object is thrown on earth, it's 10 meters, whereas if the object is thrown on moon, it travels a distance of 60 meters. So what I can say that the range attained on the moon is approximately 6 times that on earth. Example 2.38. In the cricket game, a batsman strikes the ball such that it moves with the speed 30 meters per second at an angle of 30 degree with the horizontal, as shown in the figure. The boundary line of the cricket ground is located at a distance of 75 meters from the batsman. Neglect air resistance and take acceleration due to gravity. G is equal to 10 meters per second square. Okay, what are all the things that are given? We consider a cricket game. A batsman strikes a ball and it moves with the initial speed of 30 meters per second. So the value of u is going to be 30 meters per second. And the ball can be considered as a projectile because initially it is given some force and then it really moves under gravity. And the angle of projection theta is equal to 30 degree with the horizontal. The boundary line of the cricket ground is located at a distance of 75 meters from the batsman. Right, so the distance of the boundary line from the batsman is 75 meters. Will the ball go for a 6? If the ball has to go for a 6, then the distance traveled by the ball should be greater than 75 meters. Okay, so what we'll basically be doing is we'll be finding the range of the projectile, which is the range of the ball. If that particular value is greater than 75 meters, then if else, then it is not going to be a 6. Okay. In this problem, we neglect air resistance. We assume that there is no air and the acceleration due to gravity is 10 meters per second square. Generally, the acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meters per second square. But for simple calculations, we use the value of g as 10 meters per second square. Okay, we'll move on to the problem. And it is figuratively represented here. The ball strikes the bat and moves towards the boundary. The distance between the batsman and the boundary line is 75 meters. If the ball moves farther distance greater than 75 meters, then it will go for a 6. So first I'm finding the range of the projectile, which is given by the formula r is equal to u square sine 2 theta divided by g. And we know that the initial speed u is equal to 30 meters per second and the projectile angle theta is equal to 30 degrees. Substituting these values in this particular, r is equal to 30 square into sine 60 divided by 10. 30 square is 900 and the value of sine 60 is root 3 by 2 divided by g value, which is approximately 10. Right, and the value of root 3 is 1.732. It's a constant value. Similarly, we know other values for root 2, 1.414, etc. Right, value of root 3 is 1.732. If you substitute these values and make simple calculations, you will have the value of the range to be 77.94 meter, right, which is obviously greater than 75 meter, which is the boundary line, right? So if the range of the ball or the projectile is greater than 75 meter, which is 77 meter, then the ball will definitely go for a 6. The distance is greater than the distance of the boundary line, hence the ball will cross this line and go for a 6. And that's the end of the session, my dear students. If you have any doubts, please contact your respective teachers. We'll be glad to help. Thank you. Nandri.